But how much of a negative impact could Pickford have on their season, Michael? We did some more stat crunching. 14 errors from England's number one, leading to goals since the 2016-2017 season. Now, that's 4 more than any other keeper on the list. And you could say, depends how many games they've played. Well, some of the names there, Lloris was active. He's on the list, as is De Gea, for example, Dubravka. Begovic was on the list, but he's no longer around, of course. How worrying is it? Should Carlo Ancelotti go all out to sign Sergio Romero? Or perhaps Manchester United don't want to strengthen a rival now?
I believe that it's time now that, it's happened far too long. International level, domestic level, he's making a lot of mistakes. And I think that if Everton have aspirations to, let's say break the top 6 before breaking the top 4 and stay in that sort of company, then they need something solid at the back and in their goal. So yes, I think, listen, Ancelotti hasn't won the Champions League and Italian leagues and done all that without being astute. And I think he's now making plans for, getting a goalkeeper, if not even just to, competition, because those 14 errors, how many points is that? Everton have struggled in the past because of those sort of errors. And I think now is a chance to say, let's go out and spend. Liverpool done it. They were struggling at the back. They needed someone say, we need to shore up the back, no mistakes, and look what they went and done. And it helped them. And I think Everton need to do the same and say, we need someone that is error-free, can't make them sort of mistakes, not at this level. And he does it, he's done it, international level, and we've seen by the stats time and time again. So they need to change.
So you don't think he's even good enough to be England's number one either?
I definitely think that there should be a change. I think, you're making mistakes like that. Yeah, it's when you play football and you're making mistakes, you expect the hook. It's part of it. You don't expect to be standing there. So, yeah, let him go and earn. Let him get back to basics, start getting some form, playing well, and get back in the team. If you're making mistakes like that, then you don't deserve to be England's number one, let alone be Everton's number one. Let's be honest with that. He's making mistakes and he doesn't seem too sure. All you ever see him sometimes now recently, put his hand up, sorry. And sometimes it's too costly. So, yeah, if it's England's number one, I'm sure there's some saying, give me a chance.
Well, there's that. Sorry, go on,
Sorry,
Dan.
Adam. I was just going to say, Adam, the irony of this is that at this precise moment in time, Jordan Pickford is the Everton goalkeeper. Everton have just had their best start to the season since something like about 1936, so I was reading earlier today. And he's also been the England goalkeeper, which has coincided with a time when the England national team has reached, some quite landmark achievements in international football by their pretty disappointing standards in previous decades. So, if you're achieving that and your goalkeepers may be questionable, I'm also saying, well, how questionable is it? So, you really have to analyse. It's easy for us to sit here, and I just said, as Brighton scored that goal, Neil Maupay scored the goal from Pickford's error. I'm saying Pickford's had a nightmare there. Well, what else did he do in the game? As we spoke earlier about Ederson for Man City, it's a poor punch which leads to them conceding a goal, but he made 3/4 other exceptional saves that a lesser goalkeeper wouldn't have made.
But isn't the issue...
sorry. I was just going to say, just to counter that, is that Liverpool 2 years ago done really well, got to the final with the name's gone out of my head.
Loris Karius. Karius and Mignolet were the goalkeepers.
Yeah, and he made errors, but Liverpool still advanced. They had a good team, and then once they eradicated and made a change, then their success was you saw the difference in what a successful goalkeeper is. That I'm not one to be harsh and say get him out, but over accumulation of time and what's happened, I'm saying if Everton did make a change, and as a defender, we know when you've got something calm, there's not a mistake at the back, how it settles the team, then Everton could maybe stay on that sort of form. And if anything, then it makes Pickford raise his game. And no, we all live on competition. We all know what looking at the door. Better someone comes in the door. We got to raise our game, or we're going to be out the door. That's just how football is. And maybe it might help him raise his game when there's someone on his shoulder and coming in the door.
Yeah, and I guess, Gary, ultimately, when Edison, or someone else makes a mistake, you tend to act a bit surprised. But if Pickford's making a mistake again, the surprise element isn't there as much anymore, is it?
Yeah, and of course, to counteract the argument that I put forward a moment ago, how well England have done generally with Pickford in goal, how well Everton have started this season with Pickford in goal. If you had a better goalkeeper, how much better would Everton have done? How much better would England have done, of course? And then there's the ultimate example as well, isn't there, at Chelsea with Kepa Arrizabalaga. And, you know, Chelsea have just gone out and bought in another goalkeeper who started today, I believe, if I remember correctly. And, you know, Frank Lampard said, well, my keeper, regardless of the fact that Chelsea paid all that money for him, isn't doing what I want. I'm going to go out and pay a king's ransom for another one.